Awesome. Hello, everybody. Super excited to see that attendees number jumping up, and we are going to get started here in just one moment. So thank you all for joining. I'll give 1 minute for people to get their audio set up, and then we're going to dive right in. So thank you so much for being here. Awesome. Well, we are going to get started here. Thank you again for joining. I'm super excited to see everyone, some familiar names there in the attendees list. Just to quickly introduce myself, my name is Annie Mirvong. I'm a product manager here at Pipeline, and I am joined by Kimberly Longhauser, who is one of our awesome customer success managers. And if you have joined our product webinars in the past, you'll probably be pretty familiar with us at this point and the general flow, but we're going to do a quick overview and a couple housekeeping items before we get started. So today's webinar is all about product, but specifically about our customizable dashboards functionality. So we are super excited today to be able to run everyone through the changes that we've made to the dashboards, and Kimberly's going to be taking us through some use cases and examples. A couple of things to note: if you have any questions as we go through the webinar today, please do not hesitate to drop those into the Q&A box. You'll see the Q&A icon in your Zoom window, so feel free. You can also ask questions anonymously if you prefer to do that as well. And we will keep an eye on the Q&A box as we go through the webinar today. And then we'll also be saving time at the end to get all those questions answered. So that is the one thing to note. The other thing to note is Kimberly's going to be putting up a poll here at the start of the webinar. Here at Pipeline, we really always just want to make sure that we're getting the information that our customers need to you guys so that you can make the best use of your Pipeline subscription and get the most value out of the platform. So we're just kind of curious, have you heard about the new customizable dashboards functionality? Is this like totally new information to everyone? And then we'll be putting up a poll at the end just to make sure we're getting you guys information to use the new dashboards. So if you're just joining, there's a poll up on the screen. Feel free to answer that, and we are going to dive in. So our agenda for the day. As product manager, I'm super excited to just kind of talk to everyone today about why we made changes to the dashboard, sort of the background behind these changes. And I'm going to talk everyone through sort of a high-level overview of what you can do now with the customizable dashboards functionality. And then Kimberly, our awesome customer success manager who works super closely with a lot of our customers day to day, is going to talk us through some use cases. So how could you actually implement some of these new improvements that we've made? How can you use these in your day to day to make your sales process more efficient and ultimately close more business? So that's what Kimberly's going to be talking us through. And then, like I said, we'll have some time for Q&A at the end. And then also a couple of announcements on what's upcoming in 2023 for Pipeline and product. So some very exciting updates that I'm really looking forward to sharing. So with that, we are going to dive right in here and get started with an overview of customizable dashboards. So I am in my demo account. I'm just going to close out of that poll. I'm in my demo account, and I'm going to give kind of a high-level overview of what's changed. So customizable dashboards, the idea behind this feature was to really put more like customization and more flexibility into the hands of our customers for kind of choosing and dictating what you want to see when you first log in to Pipeline every day. So, previously we've kind of had a strict sort of, you've got your pipeline, you have your agenda, your deal slipping away, those sorts of things. And what we really aimed to do with this feature was allow you to say, what's going to make my workflow and the start to my day more smooth and get me the information that I need to decide, how to spend my time and kind of work through, the things that I have on my plate for that day. So What we did in the big sort of update to the customizable dashboards feature is that we have allowed users to now add custom content to the dashboard. And so what I mean when I say custom content is specifically list views, goals, and reports. So we've added this sort of like add to dashboard modal where you can choose the specific list views that you want to add to the dashboard. And sort of begin to curate a specific dashboard for your needs. And Kimberly's going to talk us through some of the use cases and examples of helpful dashboards that you can create. But that is the big sort of change there. So goals, list views, and reports. You also have the ability to add any of the default content that you may have removed from the dashboard. You can add that back in at any time. So you can see I've just removed some of these defaults from my dashboard, and I could always choose to add those back in. The other thing that we sort of set out to do when we, took on this project was we wanted to give users the ability to customize the size of the tiles and the placement of the tiles. So as you probably know, in the past, we were quite rigid in, the way that you could rearrange tiles on your dashboard. You couldn't resize them to fit, the content or the way you wanted to see it. So we've added a more dynamic kind of layout to the dashboard here. So you can see that using the drag and drop in the lower right-hand corner, you can resize these tiles to fit your needs. And you have much more flexibility in the way that you see that content and, the way that it's arranged on the dashboard. So you can resize and then move them around in that way. The other thing to note is that with the customizable dashboards rollout, we've also implemented what should be a pretty familiar flow to users here. So this, I've made changes to the dashboard. I resized some of my tiles and I moved them around. You'll see now that you have the ability to save the dashboard in the same flow that you do when you have a list view that you've made changes to. So from here, we can save the dashboard, either save the changes to that dashboard, or we can save it as an entirely new dashboard. So that is the other big change, is that we have now allowed users to create multiple dashboards. And you can, and Kimberly's going to walk us through why you might want to create multiple dashboards and what that will look like. But this will be, super helpful for users to be able to kind of segment out different data sets and kind of curate those multiple dashboards. So when you save a new dashboard, you just give it a name and we'll say secondary dashboard and click save. So all of your dashboards, live in this drop down here, which is a very familiar flow. Again, we wanted to create consistency across multiple areas of the app. So this should look very, very familiar for those of you that spend a lot of your time on the list views. You can search through your saved dashboards, you can star dashboards, and then you can set default dashboards. So again, this is helping to sort of allow you to customize the first things that you see when you log into the platform. So if I decided that I wanted my secondary dashboard to be my default, I would just set that as my default dashboard. That's the first thing I'm going to see now when I log into Pipeline every day. A couple other things to note: you can rename, duplicate, and delete dashboards. So if you want to duplicate the dashboard and then make changes to it, you can do that easily here from the dashboard options. The last thing I want to point out is that we changed the filtering options to allow users now to filter on individual tiles. So you may, remember that in the upper left-hand corner, you used to have the option to filter the dashboard by users. That functionality is still there. You can still filter content to see, the pipeline by specific users. We sort of added that content now to the specific tiles. So this gives you greater flexibility now to just say, I want to see the pipeline filtered for this user, but maybe I still just want to see my agenda filtered for me and not necessarily for that specific user. So just putting more flexibility into the hands of our users to, streamline and make your workflow a little bit easier there. So that is the other, so you'll see the users filtering here in the upper right-hand corner, and you can filter for teams or specific users. The last thing that I want to point out is some of the actions that you have available on these tiles. So you see here that I've added my this specific report that I have for deals that were closed in July and August. This is a custom report that I created in the report section. I can choose to go to that report, and that's going to take me to the report section, and I can, see that report. I can see the drill downs. I can see any, kind of additional dimensions that I've applied to the report. So I can do all of that by going to the report. I can also move this content from one dashboard to another or copy it. If for some reason, maybe someone else is making changes to that report and I want to just immediately refresh that, I can do that, and it's going to give me the most up-to-date content on the dashboard. And then if there's ever any, content that I've added that I just don't want to see anymore, I would just remove it here. So I'm actually just going to go to one of my list views here. And I just wanted to also mention that you can add content now directly from list views as well. So from list views, reports, and goals, you have the ability to select from the list options. You can choose to add to dashboard. So this is also really helpful, if you've just created a really nice curated list and you don't, you want to immediately add that to the dashboard, you can choose to add it to the dashboard, select the specific dashboard, and you're good to go. And you can do the same, you'll see from the reports tab, under any of your saved reports, you can select the report options and then choose add to dashboard. So those are the main updates that we've implemented with this project. And I'm going to turn it over to Kimberly, and she's going to walk us through some use cases and specific examples of how you can implement this in your workflows. So I'm going to keep an eye on the Q&A box while I turn it over to Kimberly.
Perfect. We did have one question that came up that is applicable before we get started to jump in here. Eric asked, it looks like all of these new dashboard features are for the Grow plan only. So if we have the develop plan, most of these updates are not available, correct? That is correct. However, by attending today's webinar, we will be enabling a 3-week trial for Grow. That'll be effective post-webinar. So you should see those updates in your account before the end of the day. And then if you would like to upgrade at any point during your trial, you can reach out to our customer care team and they'll be more than happy to facilitate that for you. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. I also have the results of the poll to share. We'll go ahead and share that now. It looks like around 69% of you are beginners and or first time you're hearing the updates. So I definitely encourage you to use that question and answer box. We got about a 30% proficient, educated, up to date, and just 1% on expert. So I'm hoping our end poll might bump those numbers a little bit. But just to confirm, Annie, you're seeing my pipeline screen, correct? Good deal. All right, so with the creating of custom dashboards, depending on your role, depending on your visibility settings, will depend on what you see here. But I am logged in my account as the admin executive user. So I have visibility across all, and the scenarios that I'm going to be demonstrating today are going to be focused around executives and team leaders. And then if we have time, I'll go ahead and show a basic user as well. So I am Kimberly. I work for a paper company. If you've attended any trainings with me, you'll be familiar with this by this point, but we have the default dashboard here. I have created a couple existing dashboards, but I'm going to create a new dashboard just to kind of walk along through it. You can see that I have a project team dashboard and a sales team dashboard. So if I wanted to add a brand new dashboard, just like you can add a brand new list view, I could do it that way. However, I prefer customizing it as it comes. So what I'm going to do first and foremost is I'm going to remove a couple of these tiles: latest email interactions, deals slipping away, starred lists, because my focus right now is going to be building a team dashboard. And again, I can re-add all of those tiles if I need to. But for right now, I want to go ahead and remove them just so I can kind of start with a clean slate. So with the add to dashboard, you'll see that any removed tiles pops up here, like Annie mentioned earlier, and I'm going to start with a list view. Again, you can select your record type, companies, deals, or people, and you can add either a default list view or a shared list view. For this purpose, I'm going to go ahead and add in recent deals. So we'll see my recent deals that were updated within this month. If I need to check my filters again, I can go to my list view. I'm going to go ahead and resize this, make this a bit smaller, because what I really want to see is the status, pipeline, and the stage. Maybe drag that out a little bit more. My screen's a little bit overreactive. There we go. And then I want to go ahead and add a goal to this dashboard because I've got a couple goals that are coming up for my sales teams. These are individual goals and then team goals. You can, we've got them nice and bucketed. If I go ahead and put in the presentation push, it's going to pull in my goal as such, and you'll see that we have our leaderboard here, as well as how many deals have moved forward. If I want to see the details of those goals, again, I can go to the goal. And if at any time during the day, I would like to refresh the results because in my team is supposed to be moving those deals daily, it'll refresh and update in real time. You can do those same functions with a list view as well. So if I was to go to this recent deals list view, it opens up again in a new tab. And if I wanted to change any of the columns, remove any of the columns. So say I was to remove, we'll pick summary because that's not a field that my team uses. And we'll do save changes. If I come back to my dashboard and I refresh, you'll see that that summary field no longer is present in my list view. Live time took me less than 30 seconds to complete that change. Now you see that we do have, as Annie mentioned, the default dashboard that we've made our changes to. I want to make a couple more changes before I save, but I'm going to go ahead just in case so I don't miss anything. We're going to put recent deals and we're going to put it as sales team. So because I have it as recent deals sales team, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and filter to the exact sales team, and I'm going to remove myself because I am not a member of that team. So I don't want any of my deals mixed in with their deals. That is a very important call out for me specifically because I have overlooked that quite a few times in my own day-to-day use. So now you'll see just by changing that user filter, changes were made. I want to update this filter as well, my active deals and my timeline, because I have this recent deals here. I'm going to do this quarter so I can see the bigger picture and I can use my list view to check out this month. So I'm going to save those changes again. And I can add further tiles as well. So I'm going to go ahead and add a report. One of the saved reports I have, and at the very end, when we get to the reporting dashboard that I'm going to build later for you, we'll review saving reports. I'm going to add my deal stage by owner, and that'll pop up here at the bottom. This tile is also dynamic. You can make this larger, smaller. You can also bring it up in the list or in the dashboard itself if you would like to see a report on the top instead of your pipeline. I've been finding having my pipeline at the bottom of the page has been a lot more beneficial just for my own use cases because I get more use out of my list view and seeing my goals all in one place. So I'm going to go ahead and save those changes as well. So for the pre-created list view or dashboards, I'm sorry, that I've created here, my project team dashboard and my sales team dashboard, let's take a look at those and identify the differences. So the project team dashboard, there are a couple items here that look a little bit different, may look very similar. So I'm following kind of the same flow with my pipeline, my project team stages. This is a report, my goal, and also my project team deals. So this is very project team based. Previously, we were talking about the sales team. This is my project team. I have multiple pipelines. So I should have this filtered to the project pipeline. That is something that I overlooked and didn't save. So we're going to go ahead and make that change and update it. I have also shared this project team dashboard, which is a function that is now available to you. You can share this globally if you would like to share it globally. However, in my case, I want to share it with the project team leader or the project team itself. So we're going to share it with the project team overall. And then once that has saved and sent through to that project team leader or that project team itself, they'll receive that email very similar to the way when you share a regular list view. How are questions going? Okay, good. All right, so with that, the project team dashboard is created. I have shared it out. Now let's flip over to a project team member. 1 second while I make that change. Okay, just to confirm, you're seeing a black pipe. Okay. I've been having some internet and sharing problems, so I want to make sure. We're logged in as Andy now. He is a leader of a team. We will be able to see that reflected here within his actual team settings and his user settings. So that is another large change that has happened with the user fields being moved into each tile. You'll be able to filter for those users and it will be reflected based on your specific visibility settings. I'm on the default dashboard because I have not made any changes as Andy to my dashboards, but I want to check and see which dashboards have been shared with me. You can see that the same as you would see with list views. So we have the sales team dashboard has been shared. You do have the ability, if you are, excuse me, if you are a team leader, to remove the shared dashboards. But once you remove them, you will not be able to gain access to them again, and you will have to have the original owner reshare those with you. We're not going to do that because we want to look at that. So now we're looking at my sales team dashboard. I want to see, I want to make some changes to this as a leader, because while Kim did a great job setting this up, it's not exactly what I want to see, right? What's the most important to me is definitely going to be their goals as their manager, and then their agenda to make sure that they're staying up to date on their tasks and events. My whole system froze.
You want me to take over?
Yeah, I am frozen.
Oh my goodness. Internet connectivity issues. Do you want me to share my screen, Kim?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay, I'm back. Woo.
Okay. Thanks everyone for
the patience there. Oh my gosh. Okay. So the tasks and events and the goals are the most important to me as the sales team leader. Apologies. So I have my goal here, presentation push. I also have my leaderboard updated to reflect my sales team. And then I have the agenda items that are filtered to just my team. And again, here with the agenda, it's the same functionality as before. You can view the past due and you can view the this week. Something else that I would like to highlight in terms of list views, you are able to add the agenda list view to the dashboard, and that's by using that functionality that Annie demoed earlier. So if you were to click these three dots, or even, view full agenda, it should open in a new tab if you right click on it. But if you have a saved agenda list, so I'm going to say all overdue tasks, you are able to add this as a modal to your dashboard. So if I was to save this and then come back to my dashboard, my sales team dashboard, I would see it here down at the bottom. Now, key note, this is a shared dashboard, and I am not logged in as the owner of this dashboard. So the making of changes to it, you could run into a couple small issues there. If I was to remove it and or shift it around, so if I was to say remove, and I try to save this dashboard, it will prompt you to save as a new dashboard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and save it, and I'm going to do Andy's copy of team. I want to look at this deals updated this month list view. So I'm going to click on these three buttons, and I'm going to hit go to list view. However, I do not have access to that list view because I, Andy, do not have that list view shared with me. So that might pose problems for my team members if they're looking to log in here and try to access their information, right? So now we're going to reformat this to an individual team members dashboard. So that way I can share this out with my team and make it functional and appropriate for their use. So the first thing I'll do is I'll come to deals. I'll make sure that I have my individual team members list views saved. So I've got Tony's deals and Jordan's deals. We're going to remove this deals updated this month, and we're going to add a list view. Actually, wait, I want to leave that there. We're going to leave it there. We're going to add an additional list view. We're going to keep it on deals, and we're going to add in Jordan's deals. Remember, all of your new tiles will add to the bottom of your screen. So if I want that at the top, I'm going to go ahead and click it, drag it up, and drop it there at the top because it's Jordan's deals. I'm going to move the deals updated this month down here to the bottom. Filter this agenda instead of my team directly to Jordan. And the pipeline instead of my team directly to Jordan. So now I have the dashboard that I want Jordan specifically to use. I'm going to go ahead and save it as a new dashboard. You can use any nomenclature you would like. It is not specific. There are no rules there. Pipeline is a choose your own adventure. I'm going to go ahead and click share and select individual users, and it's going to be Jordan. And I can go ahead and start this dashboard. I can also ask for him, please do not make any changes. Please advise if there are additional tiles you would like for me to add. Save. Because this is going to be the view that I'm using to track his progress, to track his use case of pipeline and his efficacy with his deals. So I don't want him making any changes to this. If he does make any changes, that's like a conversation that I would have with him in our one-on-one, where I would be like, okay, have you created a new dashboard? If so, great. Can you share it with me so I can see what you're using? And if that works better for you, maybe we can make some adjustments and realign. This isn't a way to take away their agency. It's more of a way to maintain consistency and ensure adequate process adherence throughout your sales team. So that was team and individual. And now let's talk about reports and goals. So I don't know if some of the attendees today have attended our previous webinars, but we had a webinar last month about, or maybe it was 2 months ago, about our new enhanced reporting. I don't have a reporting modal on this one, so I'm going to go ahead and flip back over to this guy. And now our report for project team stages, it looks a little bit different. You may be as familiar with our reports as the previous versions of the deals one, win ratio, one deals by source. We still have those reports. They're still there, available for you. You can add them to your dashboard. However, we now have the ability to create custom reports based on saved list views. So not only can you add list views to your dashboards, you can add saved reports to your dashboard. And you'll see that underneath my reports, I have quite a few already created for you. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into project team stages. I started this by accessing deals by stage and creating the report there. So you'll see that under segments, I have my list view project team deals, and then I have it applied with the owners as well. So a couple key notes here about our advanced reporting, because I'm not going to go too far down this hole to keep us focused on dashboards. If you edit this report, you can make any changes to your y-axis, your x-axis. You can also change your chart type. Key note, if you make any changes to these reports and they're added to a dashboard, it will update the dashboard. If you have that dashboard open in another tab and that report applied to that dashboard, you may have to hit the refresh button or the 3 little dots there, but it will update on that dashboard. So keep that in mind if you're sharing your dashboard. And then I have my secondary grouping enabled. The secondary grouping will give you the analysis here at the bottom of your report. This is not exportable, but it's available for your use case, and you're able to use these numbers to help better report on different areas of your business to show like who is the highest in your project team versus who is the lowest. Andy is the leader of that team, so he needs to step it up a bit. But with that project team stages, deals by stage, saved and edited this month, this is a little bit different because it's using a different segment, AKA shared list view. So you can see that this is a bit more of a drastic ebb and flow because it's saved and edited this month. So this is looking at any deals saved or edited this month. If I wanted to create a purely report and goals-based dashboard, I'm able to do that. With that, I'm going to go ahead and add a new dashboard. And then you have now a purely blank canvas. So I'm going to go ahead and select goal. I'm going to add holiday deal blaze. I'm also going to add in my presentation push. So now I should have 2 tiles on there. Give me 1 second. That was strange. There we go. Okay. So no progress made on holiday deal blaze. Over. Come on. But we have we have had advancement on presentation push. So we're going to have those 2 goals here at the top, and then I'm going to go ahead and add in my reports. So I'm going to add in my project team stages, but I'm also going to add in my deal stages saved and edited this month. Because what I'm looking to track with Holiday Deal Blaze, this one is they need to close 10 deals by the end of December, starting in December. So there shouldn't be any progress there, right? But I want to track this for future use. Presentation push started in October, ends in November. So they're on track to complete this goal. That goal is going to, we're going to move these here. I'm going to move you over because I like my boxes to match. And then if I wanted to make any changes to these reports, like the project teams or the deals by stage, once I make those changes, say if I edit this, and let's say I remove the secondary grouping, and then I save my changes. When I refresh this report, the graphic will change as well. So I wanted to show the addition of adding multiple goals, adding multiple reports, changing your reports, and refreshing on your current dashboard. And again, since I've added these tiles after creating the dashboard, you still have to save. So we're going to go save dashboard, and we're going to save as new dashboard, or not save as new dashboard, save changes, apologies. And then I'm going to share this, and I'm going to share it globally, and I'm going to start with all of my users. So that means any and all new users within Pipeline will have access to this dashboard and be able to see this dashboard and use it without having to create the reports themselves, without having to save the reports themselves, create or save the goals. So this is a great way to reduce the legwork of different members of your team. And so that way that frees them up to either make more calls, close more deals, contact more people. Something that I'm realizing that I did not review too heavily and that we didn't talk through is editing items on the dashboard, right? So you have these list views, you have these reports, you have these tiles available to you. In terms of functions available in your list view, there are a couple areas where you can edit your record types. You can edit the form by clicking on the pencil next to deal name. You're also able to see and view the people that are associated with your deals. I swear I went through here and tried to update and add people to my deals. So I do have people on a few of them. Just might be a bad example. And you are able to access the activity feed as well. So you're able to add notes directly from your dashboard, which in my opinion is a very powerful tool because this is where a lot of that cross-team collaboration comes into play. And you're able to access your categories, tag your other users, apply it to and associate it to people. I know I focus a lot on deals, but that's typically where a lot of my accounts spend a lot of their time. But it is also applicable to any of your company fields or company list views as well. So if I was to add in my customers, you can see here that I've got my customers here. You can see their health status, their activities, and you can edit them and edit the company form from the dashboard as well. Those are my 3 4-ish scenarios to describe day-to-day use. I'm thinking that we might have quite a bit of questions. So let's go ahead and pivot to questions. And then if there's anything that I need to demo out, let me know, and take it away, Annie.
Awesome. Well, first off, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who has jumped in and asked questions. The QA box is open. Please, 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 if you're thinking it, probably other people on the webinar who are thinking it as well. So feel free to jump in and ask questions. We really, really appreciate all the engagement today. So there have been a couple questions around the editing of dashboards and kind of just like clarifying what happens if you share out a dashboard with members of your team and then one of those users makes changes to that dashboard. Is that going to affect the view for other people that have the dashboard shared with them? Or what's the expected behavior there?
Yeah, great question. So if a basic user has a dashboard shared with them from an executive and they were to make any changes, be it changing the filtering, changing the tile size, changing the tile placement, they would need to save that as a new dashboard in order to keep those changes that they have made. It will not impact the saved dashboard. That saved dashboard is the source of truth, so to speak.
Yeah, awesome. And then there's some questions around like adding calendar items or, things like that of that nature to the dashboard. Can you show us how we could add like an agenda list view to the dashboard by chance?
Yeah. So we do have the agenda fields, right? Like the agenda modal, but we want a bit more detail. So the agenda section, while it may not be available under the add to dashboard or under the list view, spoiler alert, it may be in a V2 version, but you can add it here under the list options as well. So if I come here to my list view, all to-dos, I'm going to come to deal related tasks. This is a list view within the agenda section that I have created, saved, and already starred. If I wanted to add this to my dashboard, I'll have this handy dandy little click button here. And then I can select my dashboard that I would like to add it to. I'm going to add it to my recent deals for the sales team. And then once I've done that, if I want to go a step forward and filter who it is assigned to, so let's say sales team, and if I wanted to save the changes, now when I access that recent deal sales team, it will be here at the bottom. And this has the same functions where you can access the activities. You can check the activities for the record type that agenda item is associated to. Again, mine is filtered for deals. You're also able to click into the deals and you can also go to the list view, move it between dashboards. So say I wanted to move this over to the project team dashboard or copy it, let's copy it, right? So we can select it and I want to move it over to the project team dashboard. Now, if I go to this list view, it will open it in a new tab, which is super great, especially if you're just wanting to adjust like the filtering or the sorting. So if I was to filter this to has no value and then save changes, if I come back here and refresh it, it updates in real time. Now, to kind of piggyback off of the shared question, right? This is where things can get a little bit sticky, and I just want to make sure that like everybody understands this. And if you still have questions, by all means, pop them in. If you have a shared list view and that user does not have access to that list view, they will not be able to make changes to the filter, to the sorting, to any of that. However, with like the agenda items and like adding the agenda list views, it's the same functionality. So, or I'm sorry, the same logic applies. So the company's lists or company's deals, people, and agenda list views must be shared with the recipient of that dashboard if the intention is for them to be able to make changes to those list views and save them independently. I hope that wasn't confusing.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kimberly. It's super helpful. There are a lot of questions. Again, thank you guys so much. Let's see. There is a question here on the dashboard. Can you make the deal status point to a status instead of the stage information? So I think what this user is wondering is like, for the pipeline, can you customize that to just show deals by status versus by stage? So I can answer that from a product perspective. So right now, the short answer is unfortunately no. This is, the pipeline is set to just show deals by stage. What you could do though is you could create a saved list view by status. And then, sort it by deal status, and that could be a way, and then add that to the dashboard. And that could be a way that you could keep a pulse on deals by specific status. So there's that. There's a question here. Should I use agenda instead of my calendar for daily planning? That is a really good question. Kimberly, do you want to speak to that a little bit from like how you've seen some of the accounts that you work with, find value and kind of organize their day?
Yeah, in terms of for like best case use of pipeline, I definitely suggest agenda and list viewing it out for day-to-day use. The calendar is great if you're looking to look at your overall capacity, but if you're talking day-to-day and you want to like burn through some tasks, or you have a specific number of things to do, for users in my account, seeing their calendar like this will get overwhelming. I have task templates and automation set up that due to certain triggers, things will happen automatically. So any different day, you could have so many tasks that you wouldn't know what to do with. However, if you're using the dashboard, you're using the agenda, you're using that agenda list view, it will be a lot more efficient for you because you can just go ahead and complete them as you see them.
Awesome. Let's see. There is a question here. If an agenda is shared, will the activities be updated live for everyone to see?
Meaning the activities on that record type, I would assume?
I would think so.
Yeah. So the agenda list view is dependent on the record type that it is associated to, right? So like you've got your deals, your companies, your people. If I go ahead and clear this off, and let's go ahead and clear this off. So if I was to look at companies, we'll do. Pull this over here. So like I have 2 tasks that are just applicable to that company, right? So if these were to be completed at any time, and if I was to share, like, so save this list as Terry's towels. And if I shared this with my delivery team, they would be able to see all of these activities if they have like the visibility settings and such like that. But short answer, yes.
Awesome.
The activities are available if you add it to a list view as well.
Awesome. And there was a question that just came into the Q&A box about completing agenda items on the dashboard. So I really appreciate that feedback, and we'll definitely be taking that back to my team and seeing what we can do for, Kimberly walked us through some of the actions that you can take from list views, viewing the record, editing the record from the form, viewing the activities and those sorts of things. But we will definitely look at implementing the ability to at least check off those agenda items from the dashboard. That seems pivotal. So appreciate that so much. Let's see, looking through the questions here. If you create a dashboard for each user, can you add their individual calendar to their dashboard? So at this present moment, we don't have the ability to add calendar, like a calendar view to the dashboard. It's just the agenda tile or like agenda list view. But you could definitely, filter that as like the manager and executive user. You could filter the agenda just to show their tasks and events, and then share it out with them. So that would be the best thing to do there. Live. Okay. Awesome. Really appreciate all of these questions. I'm just making sure we've gotten them all answered and we're addressing everything. I think this might be a record number of questions and engagement. So I'm very excited. Thank you guys all so much. Cool. Okay. Well, we'll keep the Q&A box open, obviously, for a while, so you can feel free to keep jumping in and asking questions. I just wanted to speak a little bit to, some of the updates that we have coming down the pipeline, so to speak, here for product. Did you have something?
No, I was going to stop my sharing so you could share we could share the slides again.
Oh, it's all good. So a couple of updates from the product team here at Pipeline. The major update that we have is starting actually last week, we kicked off a project that we're going to be working on for probably the next quarter or 2 quarters, which is an email drip campaign functionality. So we are super, super excited about this, this feature. What it's going to allow you to do is create email sequences based to trigger based on like automated actions and automations. So when certain things happen, say a deal is moved to a specific stage or a person is created, you can kick off a series of emails to be sent, to that contact. And really, the goal here is to make it so that you're not manually having to send out, emails when certain things happen. And you can also set delays, so on day 1, this happens, then 5 days later, send this email. And there's a ton of awesome functionality that we're including in this. So it's been a lot of work, and I'm just super, super excited to have the project kicked off and in progress. So please keep an eye. We will be working, on product marketing, so getting that newsletter with information out to all of our users. But this will be coming down the pipeline in 2023. And this will be available just for users on our Grow plan, and that's because it's using the same email campaign functionality. So there's never been a better time to upgrade to Grow, I would say, because we have a lot of awesome features, that we have been rolling out. So that is the update. If you have any, questions or, feedback, you can always feel free to reach out to a member of our customer care team, and they'll make sure that gets directly back into the hands of our product and engineering teams. So I think with that, I'm looking to see if there's any more questions.
I'm going to go ahead and launch the ending poll. So we're going to go ahead and throw that out with our 10 minutes to spare, just so that way we get everybody in there.
Awesome.
This is just to kind of follow up on the efficacy of our webinar. So let us know how you're feeling about our product and the demo that we had today. And I just wanted to plug it real quick while she was talking about it, where to access your support. So we have our number, you can email and you can chat. Our customer care team is a real life group of people that you can access at any time on any plan, and they're wonderful, super knowledgeable. We had a couple questions about our email functionality and that kind of thing. I definitely encourage you to hop on a chat. They'll be more than happy to figure out exactly what's going on and get you through there. We did have a question asking if there's a chat room for users to collaborate on best practices based on their experiences. If so, where do we access this? So we don't currently offer the chat function within our webinars, just to kind of keep things a little bit simpler when we're hosting just the 2 of us. But we're more than happy to take under consideration possibly hosting like a open up webinar to our customers to kind of give you guys a platform to have that discussion, because that is something that we haven't had. And it's been on my radar for a couple months now. But thank you, Anne, for the idea. And I'll take it back to my team and we'll talk about how we can get that done.
Absolutely. And then Kimberly, can you also just show users where they can access the knowledge base articles for any additional documentation? We have a series of knowledge base articles around the customizable dashboards, and you can access that here. It's the very first one, the guides on the dashboards. And that's an awesome spot if you're, still feeling like you want to access a little bit more information, or, learn more about the tile types or watch a short video. There's a ton of information there. So And obviously our knowledge base is also a great place if you're, feeling like you want to get up to speed on some other features like email functionality or anything like that. So, and then the other thing to note before we sign off here is that we want to continue offering these webinars. I'm so excited by the awesome turnout and engagement that we had today. So, please do keep an eye out. Anytime that we roll out any major features such as customizable dashboards or a reporting functionality, you can expect that, we will be here via Zoom, running through all the new functionality and, different use cases for how you can utilize that. So that is the other thing to note. And I think that's it. Kimberly, did you have anything else you wanted to cover today before we sign out? I think the Q&A box is quiet.
I think we're cleared up. I just wanted to confirm, just to wrap up for any maybe late joiners or anything like that. Any and all attendees will receive a 3-week trial of Grow, so you can play with the customizable dashboards feature and kind of get your feet wet a little bit, see if you want to upgrade. There will be some messaging coming from the success team and the product team to thank you for attending, as well as provide you the resources, links to the knowledge base, as well as links to the recording. I did have someone ask for our slides, so I'll make sure that those get over to who made that request. But thank you all for joining. It's been great. It looks like 71% of you are proficient and ready to start making changes. So that's really exciting. It means that we're getting what we need to get done. So, and there was a question about additional teasing for more information about the email campaigns. We're going to keep that intentionally vague for right now because we want you guys to tune in next time, as well as stay up to date with our product newsletters. So watch this space.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you all so much. We really appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing you all next time. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.